What's going on? Thank you guys. Listen, I want to take this time out to thank you guys. If you guys on my IG platform was on my other IG platform, watching my podcast this morning, my 6:30 podcast this morning. I just want to thank you guys for joining me on today. It really means a lot to me. On today's podcast, we was talking about resources after domestic violence, and I was given a lot of information on the resources that you guys can get. If you guys haven't seen on my IG platform, you can hop over to TikTok and watch the whole video, okay? Because there's a lot of helpful information that I was giving out this morning. I will be doing a part 2 on that topic tomorrow. So make sure that you stay tuned. Make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you won't miss another video, guys. But I just wanted to take this time out to thank each and every last one of you guys that joined me on today. Really, really, really appreciate it. So, the topic that I'm going to be talking about today in this podcast is healthy co-parenting, right? For those of you guys that have to co-parent, you know that it's not easy. Okay, it's not easy for a breakup with two parents, and you know, I'm going to be telling different ways to co-parent. I was one of them. You know, I don't talk about nothing that I don't know about. Okay, that's just it. Anything that I talk about, I have experienced, right? So, talking about co-parenting. Someone asked me to do a video on co-parenting in a healthy way. For me, I had to co-parent with my son's dad when we split up. And the best thing that you can do, guys, is make sure that you prioritize your children. When you break up, it's no longer about you and that individual, but it's about doing the best for that child. Okay, that means being able to co-parent in a healthy way. You know, no arguing, no carrying on. We ain't getting on the phone talking about me. If you ain't calling me about the child, then there's no conversation, right? Because you want to make sure that that child's needs are met. And it's no longer about us. A lot of people, you know, when they break up, what they do is that, you know, it's a whole lot of back and forth, and then the other person on the outside that don't have the child, they wind up missing out on their child because you can't find a good way to co-parent. You have to find a good way to co-parent, and prioritizing your children's needs, maintaining respectful communication with that other parent is so important. Okay? And creating consistent routines. If the child is living with the mother, you have to make sure that there's a routine where you set in place where that father will be seeing that child, and make sure that you make it a consistent routine. If he's supposed to get that child every other week or every week or whatever, make sure that you make that child available to that other parent, right? Make it a routine. You're going to see your father this weekend. You're going to see your mother this weekend, whatever way it is. And try to do it in a healthy way, guys. You know, don't be calling last minute and saying, oh, you know what, I can't make it to get them today, because that really annoys that other parent. Maybe they had plans, and now you're uprooting their plans because now you saying that you can't get the child. Now, I understand if it's an emergency, then, you know, there's always exception to the rules. But make sure that you just, you know, have create a constant routine for that child, so that child feel loved and respected by both parents. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what I did with my son. Every week, or every other week, his dad had him without any problems, right? If it was his weekend, he came to get him. He did not bother me. The only time he called me when it was something pertaining to his child. Because that is going to eliminate all quarrels and all arguments and stuff like that. Don't worry about what I'm doing. I ain't gonna worry about what you doing. We doing for the child. You understand what I'm saying? We're just here for the child. If it's something that you need to ask me about the child, or if it's pertaining to the child, then okay. But once the conversation start going left and start coming about me, then that's where we need to cut it. And that's how you create a healthy co-parenting relationship between the two people. You understand what I'm saying? All while respecting each other's roles and maintaining boundaries, okay? Boundaries. I always talk about this word boundaries, okay? Because you have to set boundaries. You cannot just show up at my house anytime you want. We're not together. You understand what I'm saying? I can't just show up at your house anytime I want to if we are not together. We're going to call each other. We're going to respect each other. Privacy. And we're going to respect each other as individuals so that it makes the best for that child. You understand what I'm saying? Respect each other's boundaries. That's how you co-parent in a healthy way. Focusing on the child's well-being. Open communication, guys, and respecting for the co-parent are the key elements to a successful co-parenting relationship. It's so very important, guys. It's very, very, that's the most important thing that you can do in order to co-parent in a healthy way. You know, me not worrying about you, what you doing, you're not worried about what I'm doing. Okay? And keeping promises to that child and executing it is the most important thing that you can do. Because that child is going to be looking forward to seeing you. And when you start disappointing that child is going to wonder what's going on. I shouldn't be the one to tell them what's going on. You have to be the one to tell them what's going on. You have to be the one. So make sure that you keep your word. If you're supposed to pick that child up, or if you're supposed to do something for that child, keep your word and do it. And if you can't do it, come to that child humbly and let them know, listen, this week I can't get you that favorite toy that you said you wanted. Maybe I'll pick up the tab and get it for that child, and then you just reimburse me. We should be able to work things out for the sake of that child. But we have to communicate in a healthy way, respectfully in a healthy way. You understand what I'm saying? That's the only way that you can do it, because divorces and separation can become ugly. It can become messy if we're not on the same page and we're not putting that child's needs first. And we all know that divorces can be stressful, not only just on us, but it's on that child, because we have built a family within a dynamic of, you know, a home, and then now is being pulled apart. It's devastating, not just for us, but it's devastating for that child. And so we need to try to make sure that we have less stress on that child by us communicating and us prioritizing that child, and we being respectful in front of that child. Letting that child know that even though the parents have separated, we still love you as your parent. And we still care about each other. You understand what I'm saying? We still care about each other. Some people just not meant to be together. You understand? Some people are just not meant to be together. And that does not mean that it has to be nasty. That your kids have to watch you argue and bicker back and forth, and hear you on the phone arguing and carry on back and forth. They should not have to go through that. You should be grown enough to be able to co-parent in a healthy way for your children, for the sake of your children. Because in the beginning, when I separated from my son's dad, right, it was messy. It was a little messy, right? Because he was upset that I was leaving him. And, you know, one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to stress. I'm not going to stress. And he used to say things, and he used to, and I said, listen, we are going to co-parent for our son. It's not about me and it's not about you. We have to agree that we're going to just co-parent in a healthy way for our child. Can we do that? It's not about us no more, but it's about that child's well-being. Could we do that? And once I sat down with him and talked to him about that, he had to see it my way. Because I said, what we're doing by arguing and bickering and you saying this and you saying that and you not picking him up because you trying to hurt me and stuff like that. I said, we're not hurting each other. We're hurting that child. We're hurting that child. Every time you say that you're going to pick him up and you don't show up, you think that you're hurting me? Because listen, I'm going to do what I want to do anyway. At the end of the day, I get one of my kids to watch him and still be able to go out and do what I want to do. So you think that you're hurting me, but you're really hurting that child. You're trying to keep tabs on what I'm doing, so you're not trying to take him because you want to keep me locked down because I'm not with you. It ain't going to happen because I'm going to find a way. You understand what I'm saying? And so we came to the conclusion that we was going to just co-parent in a healthy way, and we was going to respect each other, and we was going to set boundaries. And he used to show up at my house, and I told him, I said, no, you cannot just show up at my house. You can't do that. You understand what I'm saying? And he respected that. And I was never allowed to show up at his house. Because it's not my business what you're doing. And it's not your business what I'm doing. It's not my business who you're seeing. And it's not your business who I'm seeing. We have moved past that. You understand what I'm saying? So respecting each other and respecting each other's boundaries, okay? Prioritizing the child's need. Always put that child's best interest first, above all of your personal feelings or conflicts. Okay? Make sure that you prioritize that child's need. It's so very important, guys. Effective communication. Communicate clearly, respectfully, and with the focus, guess what? On that child. You got it. On that child, nothing else. We're not talking about what we had. We're not talking about what we could get back. We're not reminiscing on nothing. We're focusing solely on that child. And we're communicating very clearly and very respectful on the focus of that child and that child's need. Avoid negative insult or sarcasm because kids can pick up on that. They can pick up on the energy of two parents that's going through something. Just because sometimes we don't say nothing, but they can pick up on the energy. Make sure that you guys are sharing this. Share this to your family and your friends. It could be somebody that's going through this right now, and maybe it's not for you, but it might be for someone else. Sharing is caring, and knowledge is power. I'm giving you something freely. All you got to do is take time to share it. Respect. Respect. Treat the co-parenting with respect. Acknowledging their roles in that child's life. And avoid speaking negatively about that other parent in front of that child. Because a lot of times we so caught up in our feelings that we'll get on the phone and we'll start to cuss that other parent out, and that child is in the next room listening and hearing everything that you're saying about that mother and hearing everything that you're saying about that father, and that's not good. Never try to put someone down to make yourself look bigger. Never do that. Because again, who you're hurting? That child. You are hurting that child. That child, even though whatever happened in that household, they still love that mother and they still love that father. So they don't want to hear you talking negatively about their father. They don't want to hear you talking negatively about their mother, because that's going to hurt them. So you keep your feelings to yourself and don't start gossiping about that child's other parent. I don't care if you supposed to got child support and he or she didn't send you child support. Don't go gossiping on the phone about, yeah, that bump didn't send me child support and da 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 da. That child is listening right to you and they don't understand what's going on, and they should not have to be mixed up in your business like that. They should not have to be mixed up in your business. Find a way. If that man was supposed to give you money, or that woman was supposed to give you money for that child, and you had to get that child something and they didn't give you the money, don't go telling that child, oh, your father didn't give you the money. I don't know what I'm going to do about it. He didn't give it to me. That's making the parent look bad. Figure it out. Figure it out. You understand what I'm saying? Let that child know, listen, I know daddy told you he was going to be able to get you this, but, unfortunately, there was something that happened. You know how to figure it out, but don't make that parent look bad. Don't make that other parent look bad by you telling them something bad about their father or their mother. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be the corporate. You're going to be the one that look bad. Because no matter what happens, that child is always going to love their mother and their father. Period. And nobody wants nobody else talking about their parents bad. It's a love that cannot be broken, no matter what that other parent does. So try to make it as easy as you can on that other parent. You deal with it. If you have to, take them to court. That way you don't have to deal with nothing. That way you don't have to deal with him or she telling you, oh, I don't have the money this month. Because the money is going to be coming out right out to you. And that goes for the mother and the father. Because I'm not trying to say fathers are bad, because they're not bad people. And I'm not saying that mothers are bad people, because they're not bad people. But we all go through situations in our lives. And we have to learn how to deal with it in a healthy way for our children. You understand what I'm saying? Establishing clear boundaries with that other parent. Agree on the boundaries and behaviors guidelines to ensure consistency in that child's life, regardless of which parent they are with. Regardless, it does not matter. Maintain a routine for that child. Establish a healthy routine for that child. And expectations for that child, such as bedtime, screen time, meal time. And minimize stress and confusion for that child. Don't let your child sit up to 2 o'clock in the morning just because the father is not in, because you sitting up there gossiping on the phone. Set healthy routines and maintain it for that child. And be flexible. Maybe that parent couldn't see that child this week because maybe something came up. Just call me, talk to me. Don't wait till the day before. Call me during the week and talk to me and say, listen, something came up. I'm not going to be able to keep the child this weekend. Let's work together. I can be flexible. Maybe whatever plans I have, I could switch it to the weekend that you do take the child. But we got to communicate in a healthy way. You understand what I'm saying? For the sake of that child. Be willing to adjust to schedules and routines to accommodate each other's needs and life changes, because being a single parent is a lot of stuff that needs to be moved around. It's a lot of stuff that needs to be adjusted, right? And so we have to consider that. Maybe I have to change my job schedule. Maybe he has to change his job schedule. You understand what I'm saying? Things has to be moved around. So work with each other for the sake of that child and be flexible. You know, focus on a solution. Address disagreements, right? If you have a disagreement about something, address it. Or it might be challenges. Work on a solution. Focus on things that really matters for the sake of that child, rather than engaging in a conflict. Everything does not have to be a conflict. Sit down as adults and let's communicate and let's talk about it and let's work it out for the sake of that child. For the sake of that child. Be a bigger person for the sake of that child. Avoid using children as a messenger. A lot of parents, they use their children as a messenger. Tell your father this. Tell your mother that. What was your mother doing here? What was your father doing there? Your kids don't need to be mixed up in this ish. They're children. They don't need to be stressed out over this stuff. Communicate directly with that co-parent rather than involving your children in adult conversations. Because it's stressing you out, but it's stressing your kids out more. And be positive. Make an effort to highlight the co-parent good points and positive contributes to that child's life. Don't talk negative to that child, but talk positive. I am so happy that daddy took you. I hope y'all had a good time. It's nice that you're going to go see mommy. Whatever. Something positive. Leave that child with something positive to think about. And if all fails, seek professional help. Because sometimes we all need professional help. We just don't realize it, but we do. If you can't work it out between the two parents, then seek some professional help. If needed, consider seeking professional help from a therapist or a counselor to navigate the co-parent relationship. Listen, guys, I hope that this message resonated with you. I hope that you got something from it. If you did, make sure that you give it some love. Guys, make sure that you give it some love. And most of all, make sure that you share it. Share it to your family and your friends, because somebody else needs to hear this. If it's not for you, it may be for someone else, because somebody else can benefit from this. I want to say again, thank you. Until the next time. Deuces.